Hello everybody, John12 back here again with another video, and I'm here with another Dragon Ball Super manga review. I'm here to review Chapter 14 of the Dragon Ball Super manga. But of course, if you haven't seen it, please go check it out, because this review may contain spoilers. But that being said, let's get into the newest chapter of Dragon Ball Super. Now, this is obviously the beginning start of the Future Trunks story arc, and I can honestly say it pretty much plays out the same general outline of the anime. We get the reintroduction of Future Trunks, what he's been through, what he's going on in the current timeline within his future, his relationship with Mai, the death of Mai, what's happening in the current timeline with the Universe, 7 characters, Goku and Vegeta and the rest of the gang, the incorporation of Black as the main villain, and of course the death of Mai, and etc., etc. It pretty much plays out the same way. There are subtle differences though, and I could definitely say that with disregarding people's thoughts on like which one's better, which is superior, which one should you be checking out, if you are a hardcore manga reader, this is definitely the route to go. This manga has always been consistent to me. I have always loved it from the beginning to now. Yes, there's been tiny little things that I can pull as negatives that I don't enjoy about the manga, but overall, it's been 100% awesome and epic to look at and read. However, there is one thing that I can definitely state here that I think is a huge plus that people should go out and check out this chapter immediately, which is, number one, there's going to be some major gap in between this chapter release and, of course, the upcoming episode of Dragon Ball Super. We won't be getting an episode pretty soon, so of course this is great filler time to get some more Dragon Ball Super content within the Future Trunks saga. So that's a huge plus. Also a huge plus to check out this chapter is the lack of the Monaka filler with the aliens and the, that stupid Vagellos shit. I have to state, huge kudos to Toyotarō for not including the Vagello trilogy shit. I'm not gonna lie, I straight up despise that little filler within the anime. I know there's some people out there who really enjoyed it and got into it, especially for all the fucking fangirls who loved Vegeta with a fucking pacifier, but I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to eat a bullet after watching that shit. It was so stupid, so huge kudos for Toyotarō for not including that within this chapter. Huge kudos. I'm just saying, if you enjoyed it, kudos for you. If you wanted that in the actual manga though, I hope you go to the middle of the road, play your Pokemon Go, and get hit by a truck. That's all I can really say on that. It was stupid, let it go. It's not in the manga. Maybe there'll be like a panel where they make fun of it or something, but as for the freaking chapter of this manga, it's not included, and I say huge thumbs up for that. However, with that being said, there are certain things that I take away from this chapter that I really enjoyed right off the bat. Number one, the reintroduction of Future Trunks. This is the introduction of Future Trunks into the Dragon Ball manga again, and I can honestly say they did a pretty great job. I loved how it has just great transition and a great scope in comparison to the anime, which also has a great scope when we're into the future. And I can say it's so cool to see that stuff. I love the incorporation of Mai's relationship with Trunks. I think it's a little bit more fleshed out and more impactful and heartfelt within the manga in comparison to the anime. But overall, it's been pretty consistent either way, so there's not really a huge judgment on that. But it's really cool to see that. The transitions from this is the new shit. I feel like this chapter, if the last chapter didn't buy you, if you thought it was rushed or kind of stupid, this chapter definitely makes a statement. This is Toyotarō saying, this is some new shit. This is the new thing to check out. This is not the current timeline. This is not gods versus gods or anything. This is freaking the future. This is where shit's going down at a fast biblical rate. And I loved it. I thought it was really awesome. The artwork is awesome as always. Toyotarō has been killing it with his artwork. If there's anything to take away as a negative that's really been bothering me with his artwork and his construction of the manga, definitely has to be the lack of splash pages. I know that Toyotaro's really been trying to incorporate Toriyama's style with his style, but if there's something that I wish he would do more of, which I think was very lackluster within the last chapter, which is some splash pages. He's very tiny panel kind of guy, and with a little bit medium and a little larger panels here and there, but overall it's time to really do just a one-page epic shot of some crazy shit going down, and I feel like that's something that needs to be more incorporated with his artwork and construction of the manga. That's just what I can say as an artist-to-artist kind of comparison. But with that being said, everything else is really great. There's definitely significant differences within the manga and anime. A lot of that has to do with Bulma. Bulma in the future is pretty much non-existent. She kind of dies off screen, and that's kind of like the big negative I have within the chapter that I feel like was a major difference within either or. Another real major difference is what's happening in the current timeline and the continuity of Universe 7 characters. So of course in the background we have Goku and Vegeta sparring, learning some new key techniques from Whis. We get to see Whis talk about time manipulation and stuff like that. Jocko and Tights are actually incorporated into the saga, which I think is a huge plus, talking about law and time and how messing with time is a huge offense against time, space law and all that kind of crazy stuff. And also the teachings of Trunks in the Pilaf gang, kind of similar to the anime, but this time talking about parallel universes and a whole bunch of other crazy stuff. This was pretty much just the manga's way of telling the manga-only readers and upcoming readers of the manga to be like, this is what time means, this is what parallel universes mean, this is what time manipulation means, and this is what the standard is for this continuity of story. That's pretty much what it's telling us, and I say, okay, sure. But overall, the chapter continues with the future. Of course, we get some more Mai and Trunks stuff, which is really great. I think if there's any really specific thing that I take away, is that the manga definitely does a better way of fleshing out Trunks and Mai's relationship together and how important they are to each other. They have a lot of heartfelt, great moments within the chapter, which I think is a huge plus. And of course, the incorporation of Black at the ending. I think it was a kudo kind of awesome move on Toyotaro's part to make sure that Black is very non-existent with this chapter. He's a presence, but he's not a shadowy figure the same way he was in the anime. In the anime, you kind of get silhouettes of him, you kind of get this weird demonic construction of him, but overall you never see him until the last specific shots within the anime. In the manga, you get some shadowy figures here and there at the last panels of the manga, but it's not until the last shot you see who he is, and he just smiles at Trunks, and it's just really epic and awesome finale. But I love the fact that you don't actually see him, you don't know what he looks like, and you don't know his shadowy figure. He's just there, kicking ass and destroying the universe, specifically Earth, but you get the general gist of what he's going on. But overall, I think this was just a solid chapter. I really have been consistently amazed by the chapter of the manga. I just loved every single shot from beginning to middle and end. It was just a solid, great chapter. I love the incorporation and Easter egg of the androids and the android saga and how Trunks defeated them and how Earth celebrated how the androids were defeated, which was cool. I like the reintroduction of Trunks in the manga. I thought that was great. Trunks and Mai's relationship was also amazing and a lot more heartfelt, artwork-wise, very consistent. But Toyotarō, he needs to start putting in some splash pages because it's starting to get a little just very bland with just panel, 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 a little bigger panel, but panel, panel. It's just do some splash pages of some epic shit. That's kind of something I was hoping for with the Goku versus Hit stuff, but we didn't get that. Hopefully within this new arc he starts putting in some new splash pages because he needs to start doing that. But everything else was pretty cool. I mean, the incorporation of Jocko and Tights was really cool because it's really rare to see Tights in any form of Dragon Ball. And Jocko being in there is always a plus because I love Jocko. And of course, a lot of really cool things here and there. The battle between Black and Trunks and inside Capsule Court was really freaking epic and awesome. And of course, the death of Mai felt a little bit more definitive within the manga in comparison to the anime, which is another real thing that I really wanted to point out in this chapter, in this chapter review rather, which is Bulma and Mai, in the way that I read the chapter, kind of felt like in the manga, Bulma and Mai may not have a relevancy within this story as they do in the anime. In the anime, Bulma and Mai are very huge parts of Trunks' saga. However, in the manga, it kind of felt like anybody can go. Anybody can eat a bullet and pretty much die. Bulma dies off screen, Mai gets whacked pretty hardcore and brutal in comparison to the anime, and it feels a little bit more definitive when you see Trunks' reactions and Black's reactions. It's just really creepy and eerie, and there's a lot of shadow play here, but it's really cool and epic stuff. I think it's a huge change from the anime, but I think it's a good thing that they kind of did that. It was just really nice to make the statement that no one is really safe within this new chapter of the manga. So I think that's a huge plus. I could be wrong. In the upcoming chapters, they could pull off what the anime did, which is show off that Mai could still be alive or something. But overall, at this point in time, the manga, or at least this newest chapter, kind of made it feel like they may not be back for upcoming stuff in this arc. But we have to wait and see what happens in that front. But with that being said, even though I've been overly positive to a certain extent within this chapter, there are certain things that kind of bug me and really bother me within this chapter. Number one, the lack of Bulma. I think that was a huge disservice to us fans that we didn't get to see future Bulma, because future Bulma and Mai are huge parts of Trunks' life, at least in Super. Bulma more, especially because that's his mother and all that kind of stuff, and it was a huge impact to see Bulma die in the anime, so I was kind of feeling bad that they didn't incorporate that within the manga, but it is what it is. It bugged me, but it is what it is. Another real huge thing that I take away that was a huge negative within this chapter is the time talk within Universe 7 in the current timeline. It just felt too easy and just too coincidental of a story point to just mention, hey, seeing as how this is a new chapter and we're talking about time travel and future characters, we're talking about that shit as it's going down. It just felt like, I get why they did that. It was the manga's way of saying to only manga readers and to new readers that this is what time means, this is what happens when you mess with time, this is what it's going to be like for the next of the story arc within this continuity. And I understand that, and I get that, and I completely know why they did that. But it just felt too easy and coincidental just to be like, while shit's going down in alternate timelines, we have characters talking about shit going down in alternate timelines. It just feels too easy and coincidental. It's like, save that talk for like the next chapter when Trunks shows up, where it's like, this is what happened, this is the butterfly effect. We already know the butterfly effect. We saw this shit happen in Dragon Ball Z, motherfuckers. Why are we're savvy to this. We're savvy, we understand this shit. Granted, maybe not the new readers, maybe not the new Dragon Ball fans, but us, savvy fans, we know this shit. So I feel like it was just kind of waste of timing and waste of conversation and panels just to waste on, this is the parallel universes, thing. This is the multiverse. This is time manipulation. This is what's wrong with time manipulation. This is the butterfly. It just felt too easy and coincidental to talk about all this time stuff while time shit is going down in the background. It just felt too easy and coincidental. And that's the major thing that I take away as a negative within this chapter. But overall, the chapter's been pretty badass. The manga's always been consistent, but this chapter really made a statement, and I think it started really strong within this new arc. This is a huge recommend, and considering the fact that Dragon Ball Super, the anime, won't be showing any new episodes for the following weeks, it just is a good filler time to really sit down and get some more Dragon Ball Super content that we won't be getting in the anime anytime soon, at least for right now. So overall, this is a huge buy, huge recommend. My final verdict for this for chapter 14 of the manga is a solid 8.5 out of 10. I love this chapter. I thought it was awesome and epic and a great start. The artwork is great. The writing was great. The reintroduction of characters and the introduction to new characters was really good, but with the exception of those two moments with Bulma and what was happening in the current timeline, overall the chapter was consistent and awesome. But let me know what you personally think in the comment section below. But that being said and done, shameless plug time. Follow me on Instagram at Jock12. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And I hope you guys enjoyed. And this has been Jock12.